I know you want the full story of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Not the headlines, not the Twitter takes, the whole thing, from the very beginning to the very end. Today, we are going to break it all down. Every move, every decision, every moment where something that looked like a normal Hollywood drama was actually something much more calculated. It starts with a movie premiere and a director who was sent to the basement of his own film. And somewhere in this story, there is a question I want you to hold on to. How do you make someone disappear without ever touching them? Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will never look at a public smear campaign or a private one the same way again. The movie is called It Ends With Us. It's based on a best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover, a story about a woman who falls in love with a man who turns out to be controlling and harmful to her. Really heavy material. The kind of story that, if handled with care, can genuinely change how someone sees their own situation. Justin Baldoni had been working to get this film made since 2019. He founded the production company. He cast himself in the lead role. He directed every single scene. This was his project from the ground up. Blake Lively came on board in January 2023 as the lead actress and co-producer. They shot the film in New Jersey, took a break when the Hollywood strikes hit, and wrapped in early 2024. And then something broke. Badly. By the time the press tour started in August 2024, the cast, Brandon Sklenar, Jenny Slate, Hassan Minhaj, Isabella Ferrer, were doing every interview, every event, every appearance without Baldoni. Not once did they sit together in front of a camera. The director of the film was completely absent from the promotional circuit for his own movie. And at that premiere on August 6th, when Lively arrived on the red carpet, Baldoni's group was moved downstairs. He didn't introduce the film. Lively and Colleen Hoover did. He stood off to the side with friends he had brought just to have someone standing next to him. Now I want you to really sit with that for a second. 5 years of work, his name on the production company, his vision for the story, and he couldn't even stand next to his cast at the premiere. That is not a coincidence. That is a plan. Here's where it gets really interesting. While Baldoni is being quietly sidelined, the press tour takes on a very specific energy. Lively's approach to promoting a film about intimate partner conflict is cheerful, really cheerful. She's talking about her floral outfits. She's promoting her sparkling drink company, Betty Buzz. She's launching her new hair care brand. She's doing girl talk events and posting about how sad she'll be when marketing is over. And she named a cocktail at an official film event, While You Wait, named after the character in the movie who causes harm to the woman he claims to love. Domestic violence survivors were devastated by this. Trauma therapists spoke out publicly. NBC News ran a piece with real survivors saying the whole campaign gave them an awful taste. Because I have seen this move before, not in Hollywood, in living rooms, in custody hearings, in Facebook comments. You build a bright, cheerful, photogenic story around something that deserves weight. You keep the cameras pointed at the fun version, and you make sure the person who might complicate that story stays in the basement while you stand in the light. Guys, before we move any further, if you have ever watched someone carefully craft a perfect story about themselves while quietly making sure no one believed yours, then you already know how alone that feels. Most people are told, just wait. The truth comes out eventually. Just be the bigger person. Let it go. It doesn't. Not when you're up against a machine that started running before you even knew there was a problem. By the end of this story, I'm going to show you exactly how that machine gets built, and more importantly, how it always leaves a paper trail. If you need this kind of truth right now, subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it. You might be giving them something they can't find anywhere else. On August 13th, 2024, it was publicly confirmed that Baldoni had hired a crisis PR specialist, Melissa Nathan of the agency group. If you follow Hollywood, you might recognize her name. She's the same publicist who represented Johnny Depp during the Amber Heard trial. You do not hire someone like that unless the crisis has already started. And according to Lively's legal complaint, filed in December 2024 with the California Civil Rights Department, that crisis team hadn't been waiting. She alleged that Baldoni, his production company Wayfarer Studios, Melissa Nathan, and others ran what she described as a sophisticated press and digital plan, a coordinated effort to shape public perception before she could tell her side of the story. The complaint references internal communications, discussions about strategy, about narrative control, about getting ahead of whatever she might say. Baldoni's team denied those claims completely. They argued the public response to Lively required no coordination, no campaign, no intervention. And here's the part that makes you stop for a second and actually think. Because this is exactly what that playbook always sounds like. I didn't turn anyone against you. People just saw who you really are. That phrase shows up everywhere. In family court, in custody disputes, in situations where someone watches their friends, their neighbors, even their own family slowly pull away, not because of something they did, but because someone else got there first. There's a name for that pattern: DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. It doesn't require power, it doesn't require money, it just requires getting to the room before the other person does. Lively filed her federal lawsuit on December 31st, 2024 in the Southern District of New York. The case named Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, Melissa Nathan, Jennifer Abel, Jed Wallace, producer Jamie Heath, and others. Baldoni countersued in January 2025 for $400 million, alleging defamation and extortion. He claimed Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, used their influence to take control of the film and then damage his reputation when that failed. His agency dropped him the morning after the complaint went public. His advocacy award was rescinded. His countersuit was dismissed. His defamation case against the New York Times was also dismissed. In April 2026, a federal judge dismissed 10 of Lively's 13 claims. 3 remained: breach of contract, retaliation, and one tied directly to the alleged PR campaign. Then on May 4th, 2026, and just 2 weeks before trial, the case settled. Quietly, terms undisclosed.
Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, they have now come to a settlement in this years-long battle. This is just weeks before the case was going to go to trial. Here's the thing. Don't ask me how much it was for. We don't know the terms yet. Those are not public yet, but you'll remember that.
A joint statement described the film as a source of pride. No clear winner, just a system that ran its course in public. This is not just a story about people in Hollywood, it's a pattern. The same structure shows up in family court and relationships in any place where one person controls the narrative first. You get isolated. Someone else defines the story. You become the difficult one. And by the time you find your voice, the version of you that people believe has already been written. If your story belongs on this channel, the link is in the description and it stays private unless you say otherwise. And even with all of that, it was still difficult to fight. Just you and a system that was supposed to protect you, but didn't. Kassanoff was a federal prosecutor, and she documented everything. And even then, the system pushed her to a point that is difficult to comprehend until you see it step by step. Her case is why this channel exists, and it is on your screen right